Alrighty, how is everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel. This channel is for educational purposes. And on this channel, we find out about great theories and discoveries and concepts that you're probably not familiar with because they've been suppressed or otherwise minimized outside of your purview. You have to do a great deal of digging and you have to be somewhat fearless, not really that concerned about your cognitive dissonance. You attack those theories that are uh, not in your favor, theories that you don't necessarily agree with, and um, dig deeper. And so I present a lot of those things on this channel that I appreciate the digs that the Patriot movement has provided or does provide. But I suggest that they go deeper. They're going to need to eventually. We're not going to be sauntering into a golden age with a lot of the baggage intact that we have. There's going to have to be a lot of dumping of untenable belief systems that don't stand the test of scrutiny. And to me, it's absolutely amazing how certain things just haven't gotten any scrutiny. Um, and it makes me doubt the movement as a whole. The way that the movement has handled, in particular, by the Bible, that they've just given the Bible a free pass and nobody scrutinizes it. The greatest extent to which they scrutinize it is basically to suggest that there are other books of the Bible that might should be included. Well, that's just scratching the surface. So a lot of my previous videos cover all that. Probably almost all of my previous videos over the last year are covering that. But this feature is number 29 of what you call the Q-tip of the spear. And that is to just muse on InfoWar topics of the last 24 hours or thereabouts, any of the podcasts that I've seen or heard, and kind of things that they bring up and that I catches my interest or attention. And heard some of the folks talking about the 60,000 man army in the context of these false flags. They were showing some of the false flags that the one in Austin the other day, which man, I used to live out there, and I I can totally recognize where they are, but it just doesn't ringing a bell where it was happening. But they were just showing like all these people giving CPR, and it was really kind of amateurish. And they do Craigslist and other platforms, advertise for crisis actors, pay you for a day, a couple $100 to go out there and pretend to be part of a crisis. And they're used for various purposes, a lot of advertising purposes, but they certainly can be used to stage events, um, and in particular, violent events that get headlines, that make news, even though they're staged. Um, and they've got the protests are the same thing. People who go to these protests get paid too these days. If you go to a protest and you get paid, you're a complete loser. I mean that you're just a total sellout. You know, um, you shouldn't if you believe in enough, you shouldn't accept the money. I mean, you know, um, I can see, I've never made any money podcasting, but I can see at least making money podcasting, you know, because that's more of a full-time thing. But these protests, uh, you see the same people at protests for all these different um, uh, uh, different what's the word just subjects, uh, issues. Anyway, this brings up the 60,000 man army, and that it would really be conceivable that even just really large events, large enough to be in like a big stadium, could be completely staged. That they, uh, that everybody could be in on it. And I would suggest also that the Romans used these kind of tactics as well, and in particular, in order to promote Christianity, which eventually becomes the Roman Catholic Church. Um, they put on plays of the Gospels. They roamed the countryside putting on plays of the Gospels. They impersonated the church fathers that engaged in polemics with the also staged Gnostic uh, people to create controversy, just to create interest in the religion. And they, um, staged the whole. Well, we won't get into the Septuagint quite yet. I have to get a little bit more up on my research with that. But I certainly would suggest that the Romans used these same type of techniques. And as Mike King would tell you, um, there really is no such thing as like an organic mass movement. If you see something like that, it's not organic. And so, unfortunately, he doesn't apply his own lesson to Christianity, and he can believe that that is an organic mass movement. Um, okay, well, I just want to check out, give you the skinny here on this 60,000 man army. This was an article that was published in Newsweek, May 17th, 2021. And they published I can't get my hands on the article, but, or I could get my hands on it, but not on my computer. So I'm just going to sum it up here. They published an exclusive investigative report revealing the existence of a 60,000 person secret army operated by the U.S. Pentagon under a program unofficially known as signature reduction. This covert force, described as the largest undercover military operation the world has ever seen, consists of soldiers, civilians, and contractors working under false identities to conduct clandestine missions, both domestically and abroad. The force is reportedly more than 10 times larger than the CIA's clandestine service and operates across the globe, including in hostile nations like Russia, Iran, ding, 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 North Korea, Pakistan, and in West Africa. Personnel carry out real life and online assignments, including cyber warfare, intelligence collection, counterintelligence, and social media manipulation. And as an aside, they throw in activities the U.S. often criticizes in other nations. Yeah, but it's the white hats that are doing it this time, right? Uh, Methods, the operatives use forged documents, fake passports, altered biometrics, and disguised identities. They often work undercover in private companies and consultancies, sometimes posing as civilians or contractors. The program reportedly costs about $1 billion a year. Not too bad. Pocket change. Not even $1 billion. Relies on 130 private companies and numerous secret government agencies to manage logistics. Now, when you think about that, uh, it's $900 million. for 60,000 men, 60,000 people. That's only $15,000 per person. So they can't really be on salary or anything. Uh, Sounds like it's a lot of independent contractors that are only working every once in a while. Could be wrong about that. They could be, you know, the budget could be 100 times what it is, and they could just be telling you that. So, um, managing logistics, document fabrication, and operational security. But this report raised serious concerns about the lack of congressional oversight, potential violations of U.S. laws and the Geneva Conventions, and the ethical implications of a massive unregulated shadow force that operates in secrecy. Yeah, well, certainly, certainly could be very easily abused. Uh, you know, it's obvious that this is exactly what's been going on. Um, but this, what we have seen that's been going on, probably was is not this. It's probably the CIA doing it. This is just a bigger CIA that might be like a competitor for them. Um, Counterattack. The Pentagon and Defense Intelligence Agency have not officially confirmed the term signature reduction, with a spokesperson stating it is not an official designation, though they acknowledge broader operational security measures. The existence of such a force remains a subject of intense debate and scrutiny. So yeah, um, you know, um, so when you watch events on the news, keep in mind that there is a secret 60,000 person army that may or may not, you know, be behind the event that you just watched. Um, and I would suggest that unless it occurs in your backyard, um, you should not believe it unless you actually know somebody personally whose backyard it was in, and they told you that it happened because they saw it, or um, you know, I do believe, honestly, over the last 5 years, all of these false flags have become more and more and more obvious. And I think that that's a movement. That's what's happening. And eventually, they're going to become so obvious that it's a mockery. I think it's already at that point. It's the cognitive dissonance that's kind of holding it together. We just don't want to accept the fact that the powers that be are actually doing this to us. Um, Even the good guys are doing this to us, So eventually, the dam's going to break. There's going to be one that's so obvious that even the most asleep person is going to see it, and even the most asleep person is probably going to be able to reject it. But most people it's going to be jarring that it's so bad. Or it could actually be that the people get caught in the act of doing it. Um, Anyhow, just something to keep in mind. And thanks for tuning in today. Like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute, and yeah. We'll be back tomorrow for the next episode of The Q-Tip of the Spear on Wild Tangent.